What's going on, everybody? And what's going on, folks? My name is David, and I'm your host, your legendary host of this legendary podcast, the D-constructing Topic podcast, where we grab a topic and we deconstruct it the D way, which is, once again, David, your legendary host. Let's go, man. Today we got a from the top ropes type of deal. Ooh, yeah, and what you gonna do, and all that good stuff. And I got 2 words for y'all. That's it. I got a little bit of hype. I got definitely a wrestling theme little podcast. We are in WrestleMania week, heading to WrestleMania weekend, and it's gonna be Saturday, April 16, once again, and 17. No, I'll take it back. I'm going to, let me look at the calendar. All right, it's going to be Saturday, April 18, 19, but the action starts on the 17th. And I got like a little kind of a preview show in a sense, my take on it. It is going to be once again in Las Vegas. WrestleMania 42 is going to be on the ESPN channel. They're doing that thing over there, whatever the kids. It's going to be a crazy spectacle every year, WrestleMania. Whatever it is that you want to call it, the Super Bowl of wrestling, it is a big event, and I'm here to talk about it because, woo, let's go. I'm a little bit too hyped. The inner kid in me and kind of gets, a little bit giddy when it comes to the WrestleMania week. I'm actually was kind of looking at what the menu is looking like Saturday, or Sunday. One of those 2 days or 2 nights, I'm gonna actually pick out. I've been thinking about doing the little White Castle for those White Castle lovers out there. A little bit of fish, a little bit of that cheeseburgers. You're in New York City, and New York City, they call those little burgers murder burgers for the only apparent reason. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? They tend to kind of circulate in the stomach a little bit different than other things. But hey, listen. Sometimes we don't even think about the price that one pays. We just think about how good and enjoyable it tastes. Me, not being born in this country, but I was introduced to White Castle. One of the first things that I was introduced. These little burgers, sliders, if you will. So let's see. But then I got to stay clean. Definitely got to take care of myself, even though despite it is WrestleMania weekend, I definitely still got to take care of myself. And leading to the weekend, I'm been hitting that gym and try to make sure that I eat right and all that good stuff. Because, one of those 2 days I'm going to pick out. Let's go. So anyways, you already know, we here to talk about the good stuff of wrestling. And, I always talk about wrestling because as a little kid, that I remember when being born in Puerto Rico, we got some wrestling things going on over there. My wrestling's always it's very special to my heart because it is a form of entertaining. I always tell people, look, listen, you pick your poison. That's the difference between wrestling and it is a sport to me with a little bit of, extra stuff there going on, but I love it. And, I'm excited about this weekend because it is WrestleMania. It took me a while to kind of like get, pumping and whatnot. I try my best to keep up with wrestling, but sometimes, hey, your boy, because you're going to hit the like button after this. You're going to be sharing all this information with all your wrestling fans and all your people who might say, I'm not into wrestling, but why not sit down and enjoy the fest of the WrestleMania weekend? It's one of those things that I wasn't too, psyched about it coming in, but, in the last 2 weeks or so, I've kind of at least have kept up with what's going on and all that good stuff. So we got a high action going on, and we got some good stuff. Again, I'm gonna probably preview. Am I gonna maybe do a little bit of prediction? Perhaps. Let's see. But we are going to get, and once again, hit that like button, share, and sit down with everybody. Listen to this. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think, what you're expecting for this WrestleMania weekend. Once again, it's a little the tone of this WrestleMania. It's setting a tone of being personal. If there's a theme that's going on here, there are matches that have some type of personal implications, if you will, in the sense that there's some real backstage heat for those people out there. Despite that wrestling, it is a story-driven thing, watch it. It's on Netflix, right? Monday Night Raw. It is on Netflix. I'm just saying. But the fact is that wrestlers out there, time to time, tend to get a little backstage heat. And if for those who are not into wrestling, they might say, well, what does that mean? Sipping a little bit of water. You already know water does the body good. But backstage heat would be that it's some type of, again, don't want to use the word hatred, but hatred does become a thing because it is a selling point. But it's basically having beef in real life, and it's just transmitted into the airwaves and it's transmitted here into the wrestling and the wrestling ring. And you're going to see that sometimes there's certain wrestlers who might have heat. And I will mention which are these matches that tend to have a little heat. And you're going to see how these wrestlers react to that because they might kind of throw a little extra jab or a receipt of something to that effect. So let's make it happen. You already know. We got Saturday's match card, and I'm gonna read this in the WWE.com website. And again, this is by all means. By all means, it's not how can I say the order of the matches, by all means. So we got the Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Cody Rhodes being the champion. This is once again, these are two people who have a history. And back then they had, I believe it was Legacy or something to that effect. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You already know. Feel free. If I'm wrong or something like that, take another swig of water. As I'm recording this, I actually came from the gym, so I'm a little bit hype, but a little bit parse, if you will. But hey, listen, I'm drinking and I'm hydrating, which is the key. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Randy Orton with Pat McAfee. That storyline in itself, I'm 50-50 in regards to who's going to win. I'm not into that Pat McAfee thing going on there. I personally think that Randy Orton would win, and I believe he would become either the 15 or the 16-time champion or something to that effect. I'm not saying he's going to aim to break John Cena's record, but somewhere down the line, Randy Orton, I'm just saying Randy Orton might win. I'll probably say why he would win. Hey, listen, you want the title to a legend. You want to kind of, do that thing with Randy Orton, sort of like what, the wrestling world did with Ric Flair and John Cena, but Ric Flair, primarily, you have a heel. You have someone who's a heel, who's a bad guy, and hey, why not? You know what I mean? Why not? So that's the situation with that. So that will be for the undisputed WWE Championship match. Then we got the Women's World Championship match between the champions, Stephanie Becerra versus Liv Morgan. Ooh, two of my favorites, especially Stephanie. Ooh, la Diablita, or whatever the case might be. She comes with the little horns there when she rings a great, beautiful woman. Great wrestler. Liv Morgan, she already know. Again, Stephanie, the good person, right? The good guy, if you will, the good girl against the heel, which is Liv Morgan, the bad person, the bad guy, if you will, the bad girl. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Liv Morgan once again will manage to get this one. I think that the changing the titles to the heels once again is gonna be that type of wrestling thing. Because when it comes to wrestling, it is. And when it comes to WrestleMania, you want to create moments, and you also want to create matches. And there's been like a little lackluster thing going on with the women's matches, especially the championship matches in the last couple of years. I remember that years ago we had Bianca Belair had a good match there going on, and for some reason they have been a little bit of a lackluster in a sense. So I think that this one is going to bring the pain, no pun intended, but let's make it happen. Then we got Seth Rollins. You already know Seth freaking Rollins versus Gunther. Again, two of my favorite. Gunther to be somebody that I like to share. Gunther is one of those the ring general. Ooh. I don't know which one, what's playing out here, to be honest. There's no belt here. Gunther is Gunther. Rollins is Rollins. I would like to say, once again, on the continuation of Gunther, not just defeating Cena, Goldberg, basically this is like that legend killer. The fact that you give him this win against Seth Rollins, it's one of those situations that I'm going to lean towards Gunther. It could also be a no disqualification and get something of a rematch Monday Night Raw the next following night or that Monday. So let's see what happens. Again, I'm a Gunther. I think that is just gonna be an interesting match. I mean, Gunther had pulled out some of these good matches this year, and maybe he'll continue the momentum and not just this year but last year. So maybe he'll continue with the momentum here. So let's make it happen. We got the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between AJ Lee versus the man, Becky Lynch. Two of the greatest. AJ Lee being the champion, being the baby face. I like to think that Becky Lynch would get that title. I mean, AJ Lee, tremendous. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, once again, I think that this might be the first time, little hydration again, that this might be the first time in a while where we might see two good women matches. You know what I mean? And listen, I love my women in the in history. They bring the goodness. But again, it's been for some reason it's been like a little lackluster thing going on. As of late with the women's wrestling. But hey, listen, I think they gotta bring something here. I think that there's some type of investment when it comes to these matches. And again, with that said, you're gonna go to another women's, and this is the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal Four-Way Match. The legends, Nia Jax and Last Legend. These are two beautiful women. I mean, these are two beasts. No funny stuff here. Not trying to how can I say, demean these beautiful females, but Nia Jax and Last Legend, they beasts. They beasts. They really rock. Do I see that they maybe maintain the championship? Let's see. But then you got a Sheriff versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus the Bella Twins. This is going to be interesting because, again, I would lean that this might be that match where the champions kind of, how could I say, maintain the belt on this one compared to the other. We might see Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss maybe, kind of clash. If they do win, then I'm just trying to see here. Even Bailey and Lyra, maybe something happens. There is the Bella Twins, and I'm gonna say the Bella Twins because the Bella Twins, legends in the legends in terms of the women's wrestling. I say, look, listen, the Bella Twins. I mean, they still got it. I'm just saying, but if you put the belt on them because they are popular, I'm just thinking here where they're gonna go with that. But again, it's one of those matches where let's see what plays out. I still think that the champions will retain the belt for some reason, and I think that they're the only ones in this card in the Saturday WrestleMania that they will retain the card. So you already know it's gonna be Saturday WrestleMania 42 in Vegas once again, back to back. I'll be honest. Last year, the first night, and this is my observation, is that obviously what happens on TV, or I'm sorry, what happens in the stadium sometimes does not translate to what happens on TV. And I felt like the crowd in day one were just kind of spend their energy because you got to keep in mind, Vegas is a different monster when it comes to, let's say, wrestling and WrestleMania. Because Vegas, remember, Vegas is 24/7 city committee party, and it plays different than, let's say, when the not the Super Bowl, but the WrestleMania was supposed to be in Louisiana, New Orleans, but I guess Vegas, put up some extra money. I don't know what's going on there, but the fact is this: that I felt as if some of the people, especially many celebrities, and the fact that the prices of these tickets have gone crazy up. The fact that you got certain people or certain wrestling fans that they might say, oh, I'm a wrestling fan, but they just casual. So they won or night one of WrestleMania last year. I feel like the crowd was a little bit kind of fatigued in a sense because you look, people are drinking. In Vegas, you're drinking again, but separate Vegas from any place. Is that you partying 24/7, and now you're gonna go to a wrestling event and continue to party somewhere down the line. You're gonna get a little fatigued. The drinking is gonna get to you. So let's see what happens this year. It's not a sold out crowd, my understanding. They did something about lowering the price for 25% or something in a storyline driven move there. by Pat McAfee. So I don't know. Let's see what happens there. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just hoping that we do get crowd. I want to say, I hope that TKO and the WWE decide to kind of lower the price on tickets, because if you lower the price, then you get the real fans, you get the hardcore fans. I don't necessarily feel like many of the WrestleMania people that's attending WrestleMania are again, that hardcore fans. You kind of one hardcore fans because they're the ones that tend to root, share, all that, and not just sit down and just watch. You know what I mean? But we making it happen. That was night one. So, supposedly, my understanding, there's going to be a little bit of two matches that would feature on ESPN. My understanding is Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. It's one of those things that you throw. I mean, look, when it comes to WrestleMania, you want to throw every wrestler, even if a chair is a wrestler, you want to throw them in the car to get them that little pop, get them in there. So Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. I like both. I think that whoever wins there is going to carry the momentum. I think that Jacob Fatu might get that dub. But let's see. Let's see who has more to gain and more to lose. It's one of those situations. You got the 6-man tag team match, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight. All right. It's one of those, you get everybody there. You do this in the first hour, whatever the case might be. I don't know how they're going to do this, that if it's in the first hour, a part of the show, or pre-show. But basically, if you get people like I Show Speed, the streamer, the known streamer, YouTube content creator, whatever the case might be, you get them there. You get the people riled up, because I'll be straight up. The Usos and LA Knight's going to get the people riled up. And you get the juices flowing. So I get it. So that's what's going on with that. I believe that's in the first hour of Saturday's match. Looking at WWE.com. So we here, let's make it happen. So now Sunday match card is the big night, because the big nights is the big nights. A lot of championship stuff here, once again. And I stand corrected that the first hour would be on ESPN. That what I just mentioned would be on Saturday, because Sunday will have its own thing as well. So we got Sunday match card, which is interesting. You might not get that much of a crazy amount of matches, but let's see. I guess they're planning on something. And I'm actually looking forward for night 2. You got the World Heavyweight Championship match between CM Punk, and that's going to be versus the OTC. You already know, the original. Acknowledge me, Roman Reigns. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Champion CM Punk. I'm going to go Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns. Now, again, this is one of those interesting things that where you rock, where is it that you're rocking with Roman Reigns? Is Paul Heyman going to intervene? What's going to happen? Who, what, where, and that? I'm just saying. I think that this is going to be one of those situations where Roman Reigns wins. And these are those matches that I was talking about in regards to the heat that these two gentlemen have had over a decade. A young Roman Reigns, and then a more, still young, but a bit of what he might say immature CM Punk. And it seems that the two just kind of have this backstage heat and kind of dislike for each other in real life for some reason, and many reasons, but I get it. It's going to be an exciting match. Looking forward. That's going to be the main event on night 2 for the World Heavyweight Championship. Then we got the WWE Women's Championship match. This is an interesting match because you got the champion Jade Cargill. And I want to say about Jade Cargill, I often have said she has the look. She has improved in the mic a bit, and her limited time in the ring, let's just say that hopefully does not translate to a little of a kind of trashy match versus someone who brings it, and that's Rhea Ripley. This is going to be interesting. This might be one of those matches there might not be a winner, because I think that they're going to probably test out how good this match and how good these two ladies are in this match, that perhaps it will be a continuation of their, let's say, feud that could lead to, like, let's say, a SummerSlam, which is like about 4 months from here. But I think this is going to be one of those matches that I think that it might lead like Jade Cargill not being able to pin Rhea Ripley that she might get upset and then just hit her with the belt. I don't know. That's just my thing, and I don't mind that. But again, it's all based on what Jay does in the ring. If she have improved herself in the ring, then you already know we're gonna have a nice storyline that might lead to Sunday SummerSlam. So that's just me. That's just my take. Then the next match, we got the Demon, Finn Balor. The Demon, he's back. The Demon, so-called Finn Balor versus Dominic El Sucio Mysterio. This is going to be interesting. I mean, again, they had this thing there. They had the part of that team there that I forgot with Damon Priest. Jesus Christ, I kind of forgot what's the name of that team. Please, somebody help me out. But the fact that Finn Balor, Dominic, I think this is going to be like a short, fun match in a sense. I think that's going to probably play to the nostalgia if in the event the Demon Finn Balor comes out with that entrance. For some reason, that entrance was abandoned years ago. I enjoy the entrance. But Finn Balor, I mean, listen, Finn Balor, these two could deliver. And I think this is going to be a little fun little match. I think less than 10 minutes type of match. That's going to get people, boiling. And I think that this might be the first match. Might be. I'm sorry. Then you got the United States Championship match versus Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. Oh, man, two of my, how can I say? I enjoyed both of these wrestlers, but more or less Trick Williams. And I think that Trick Williams is definitely not just the future of wrestling, but he is also the present. And I really love Trick Williams. I mean, I don't even know what to say. He got the look, the charisma. I'm going to go on a limb that he will be the champion. And hey, listen, he's going to be one of those United States Championship champions that's going to carry that belt and it's going to have some good matches. And that's what you want from a young person like Trick Williams. So let's see. Again, Sami Zayn at this point, he delivers. He delivers something. I mean, he does carry that torch that, hey, listen, if he knows that he needs to carry, pass the torch in a sense, then what better than Trick Williams? It should be a good match. And I think that we're going to see like the best of the best of Trick Williams in this one because, hey, the kid, he's out there. And that's what I'm proud about some of these matches that we got some young bucks that, hey, listen, they need to show up or else, I'm just saying, the light's on you. So there's going to be a couple of matches in the first hour of ESPN. Once again, I got to kind of figure this one out. I'm going to say that they're not calling it the pregame, if anything, but this should be interesting. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. Let's go. Two interesting match, two interesting beasts. I said two interesting wrestlers. I'm sorry, but there should be two interesting matches on the first hour. Femi versus Lesnar. The future versus the past. The future versus the present. They should be interesting. Two behemoth. And, if you already know that Femi has it. And they should be, I mean, I think that this is probably going to last like maybe no more than 5 minutes. And we're going to see these two beasts just clash like boom. And there's going to be some type of earthquake in Vegas. I'm just saying. It should be interesting. I mean, I love both. But Oba Femi he's the future. He's the present at the moment. So I like him to win this one. Maybe it's going to be some type of disqualification as well, perhaps. But let's see. Maybe Paul Heyman turns on Lesnar and goes with Femi. You know how Heyman is. That would be interesting, I'm just saying. And lastly, and once again, these are not in order. I don't know what's going to happen first, but I could see this match being the first of the night to get the people, the juices flowing. And it's for the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. We have not seen a ladder match in WrestleMania in quite a while. You already know that was made the TLC, the Tables Ladder match. We had the Hardy Boys and we had the Dudley Boys. And you already know Edge and Christian. They made these matches legendary, but this one is ladder. We got the champion Penta Cero Miedo versus Javon Evans versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonald versus Rusev versus Rey Mysterio. We have a little combination of a stew of young, the present, the old, the legends, Hall of Famers, all that. And as much as I love Penta, I could go with this. Penta has been a good champion, and I love Penta. I mean, Cero, Miedo. So, Dragon Lee, great. J.D. McDonald, you already know. I I could go with Javon Evans. And Javon Evans, young kid. Oh my goodness, Javon Evans. He's this lanky black wrestler, and I like to kind of say because well, wrestling is universal, but the fact that wrestling in certain communities tend to be like, oh, it's very underrated. Wrestling in the Latino, wrestling in the black community, wrestling in the white community, whatever the case might be, there's a lot of fans, and Javon Evans is one of those young black athletes, black wrestlers that brings it and brings it. And geez, the kid is lanky. I don't know how tall is he, lanky, but this guy brings it, and he is a joy to watch. But I just don't know if they're gonna put the belt on him. Let's see. I think this is one of those. How can I say matches where something big's gonna happen, something memorable is gonna happen. I won't be surprised if JD gets that rub. You know what I mean? But let's see. Again, I love Penta, but I think one of the you know, it's anything goes basically in this ladder match. But I'm aiming for Javon Evans because I believe that him and Dragon Lee, you already know Dragon Lee for the mysterious parts of Mexico, if you will. You already know Mexico is well represented here in this match with Rey Mysterio as well. So it's gonna be interesante. So let's see what happens in regards to that situation. But again, I think that the ladder match is just it's gonna be a spot fest and something amazing. And for some reason, Javon Evans is that person that I could think of doing something amazing that people are gonna be like, what? But anyways, but we here. You already know it's going to be in Vegas, WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania 42. We making it happen. Deconstructing Topic Podcast. We doing it big. We doing it everywhere. Follow me also on T-Juice TV. Every information will be in my description. Everywhere I go. Let's make it happen. Hopefully you enjoy it. And next time we'll talk about it. We'll chop it up and do the review on WrestleMania. And I'm hoping that this WrestleMania is worthwhile. I think I'm more excited heading into the WrestleMania than I was a month ago, or even 3 weeks ago, or even 2 weeks ago. I'm excited. I'm excited. So anyway, let's make it happen. You already know. Deconstructing Topic, because in my podcast, tenemos cero miedo. Let's go.